Peter Doocy was recently shut down by White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. So no, I normally do not do a lot of Jen Psaki stories because she's like super, you know, West Wing and she's going to go to MSNBC. But I think that this was actually a really, really good response to her from a ridiculous question posed by Peter Doocy. Without further ado, let's get to it.
So if you guys oppose this law that bans classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in K through 3, does the White House support that kind of classroom instruction before kindergarten? Do
you have examples of schools in Florida that are teaching kindergartners about sex education?
I'm just asking for the president's
opinion. Well, I think that's a relevant question because I think this is a politically charged, harsh law that is putting parents and LGBTQ plus kids in a very difficult, heartbreaking circumstance. And so I actually think that's a pretty relevant question.
All right, look, that's a great response. I mean, seriously, what kind of question is that? Oh, yeah, do you think that we should be teaching kindergartners about sex? Do you support that? Well, I mean, first of all, nobody's really pushing that. That's kind of an insane talking point. Again, what we're talking about here is simply acknowledging the existence of gay and trans people. That's not the same as doing a comprehensive sex ed like you would, for example, you know, 16-year-olds in class. Again, it should be taught later on. But look, it's not even as if the kids don't know the difference between boys and girls from an incredibly young age. Any education at that level would have to be pretty basic. You know, if we're talking about like teaching kids about certain things at a you know, K through 3 level, all right, well, for one, you teach kids to respect each other's personal space. You teach them about consent. That's what that is. Okay, and so look. If you're against teaching children consent and how to deal with unwanted touching, then you might be the problem, not the education. And so in reality, you already have that kind of education going on. And then there's the, you know, what Republicans in Florida are doing. And this is what they're trying to do. Okay. With the bills like Don't Say Gay. They want to shut down discussion about, you know, people saying, I have 2 dads, or I have 2 moms. They want to ban people from saying that kind of stuff, from talking about those things, about those relationships. And by the way, I wasn't actually making 16-year-old an example of when you should start sex ed. Honestly, I would defer to the professionals on that one and when they say that they should. To be fair. But anyway, look, for them, for the Republicans, though, they do not want to have the discussion on the fact that, again, gay and trans and identity, gender identity, is a thing. And by the way, gender identity is different than sex. I mean, anybody who's out there who's thinking that, like, teachers that are teaching, you know, even basic sex ed are like, oh yeah, so this is how you do it. This is that position and that position. No, that's not what they're doing. It's just basic biology things. But what they don't want, what Republicans don't want them teaching is, again, this is what a transgender person is. This is why you should respect them. This is what you know, gay people are. You know what they do, and this is who they are, and that's okay. That's it. What they want to do is completely erase LGBTQIA plus folks. And they use the idea of protecting children as a cover for that hateful agenda. Remember, there are bills like this. If you want to protect kids, well, bills like this kill kids. Okay? Trans kids specifically. White kids, totally fine. White cis male, you know, kids, totally fine. But trans children, again, they're bullied. They end up committing suicide as a result of this hatred that they get, not only from students, but also parents, and even in some cases, teachers. I don't think you all remember, you probably do. There was a former teacher that is running or had run as a Republican in Texas. This is Shelley Luther. I'm going to show you her comments about the trans children in her classroom.
I am not comfortable with the transgenders, the kids that they brought in my classroom, when they said that this kid is transgendering into a different sex, that I couldn't have kids laugh at them, like I couldn't have like other kids got in trouble for having transgender kids in my class. That's why I vote for school choice. And my opponent is completely against school choice. Thank you.
That pause, that says it all right there. Like, oh, yeah, isn't it so great? Wouldn't it be so great if we could allow the other children to bully transgender kids? Oh, whoa. Like she hit a wall. It was one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. Oh, I was being too honest. Oops, too open about how much I hate transgender people. Ooh. I mean, again, the whole idea behind this is absolutely gross. It's dehumanizing, trying to erase these people, and of course, it's all about the cruelty. Because at the end of the day, the cruelty is the point.